unadoptedly live in a fragile society, a fragile and volatile society occasioned by the rising wave of insecurity. But history has reminded us that when people unite, irrespective of religious, tribal, and political inclinations, they become a formidable force against the tide of insecurity in the country. Remember, the police will always tell you, when you see something, say something. Security is everyone's business. And in other notes, I warm welcome you to today's episode of the program, done on VOS TV, reaching you live from Benin City. My name is Jude Aweke, and I'm joined in the studio by my co-host, Felicia Udeji. Good morning, my co-host.
Good morning to you, Jude Aweke. How are you doing this morning?
I'm good.
I can see that.
Perfectly well.
With your cap, I can see that.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Good morning, viewers at home, and thank you so much for joining us on this Wednesday's edition of your favorite morning show. Yes, your perfect breakfast starter, where we help you make sense of all trending issues making rounds in the social media space, in the globe, in Nigeria, and of course here in Edo State. I remain your homegirl, Felicia Udeji, saying thank you so much for joining us once again.
And just to apologize to you for not bringing the program to your doorsteps yesterday. Yes, forces beyond our control led to that, and we sincerely tender apology for not bringing the program to your doorstep. We are back, fully back, and it's good to have you join us back. Thank you for staying tuned. And let's begin the program with stories that are making wave in the society. And talking about stories that are making wave in the society, I mean, no day passes without a tale of one form of oddity or another unfolding in our society today. Imagine a mother throwing his 5-year-old son into the river, his disabled son into the river, in compliance with a seer's advice. This is not a fiction, but a real-life story that played out on Tuesday, yesterday, in Ovia Northeast local government area of Edo State. The woman, apprehended by locals and residents of the area, said she complied with the seer's advice over her inability to give birth to other children. According to her, the seer told her that the disabled son is responsible for over her inability to give birth to other children, and he is a python in human form. I believe some of you haven't seen this video. Just go through it before we move on.
Yes, sir, now like this on a river. They want to find the picking for inside river. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Last time, we don't talk anymore. Now I want to find the picking show. See the woman. See the woman. They will leave. Hey, nobody go back up. Oh, man, something that happened for this life. Oh. If you can see people full here, there is one woman where we're going to throw away and picking put for river. You throw away and picking put for river for here, for one river for here. You picking, I don't even know, just come up for us. Now, if you can see people full here, where? So people share. People. I see the woman. Who you pay now? See the woman. Who you pay? Who you pay? Yes, now. Who you pay? Oh, my son, that happened for the Something that happen for this life. Oh. Mom, I watch this video to the end. Oh.
Video me about the video. Who you pay for one make carry the pikin go river? I know.
The woman there and the residents of the area, who apprehended her. According to her, she is unable to give birth 5 years after giving birth to a disabled son. And a CIA in Benin City advised her to get rid of the 5-year-old disabled son for allegedly being a python in human form. That is one of the stories we are tracking for you this morning. Let's see the order just before we discuss all of these in detail. The other story we are tracking for you is that the Edo State Police Command paraded one Miss Olushi, the Miss Olushi, who allegedly, self-kidnapped herself to extort family members, loved ones, friends, and others. She claimed that she did that just to offset death.
I said, with the women, let's manage it. He said they said they want to add to it, that he had reduced it. I said, should reduce it. That he had reduced it to 20 million. So I still told him it's too much. If we have 5 million, we are okay. I can pay off this debt. And I said, okay, that he has shifted because we said 1 week.
You said you were not kidnapped. You went into hiding.
Yeah.
There is a video of you where your hands are tied, your legs are tied, your eyes are tied. And there is a gun pointed at your head, asking you to say your last prayer.
Yes.
The question is, if you were not kidnapped, how come about this video?
We acted it as drama. So I met these children, they came, him and the junior brother. So I told them I want to add one drama. He said, which kind of drama? I said, drama, we go be like kidnap. They say, okay. I said, you bring cutlass, tie my hand, tie my leg, you carry cutlass, put it in my neck, I say your last prayer. So when we are now discussing, the children now say their father had a
that's the Kanayo of Edo State there.
The female version.
The female version of Kanayo.
Like, I don't understand. What kind of drama is that? And it's funny she calls them kids when it was alleged that one of them is a lover. Like, our story does not add up at all. You claim you are into depth, yet your children don't know about the debt.
Is she an actress? That's where I'm
well, she has automatically turned into an actress. Nollywood should definitely feature her, because for her to come up with such concept, oh my God, tie my hands, tie my legs, carry cutlass, and put and I want to add kidnap drama.
I mean, a gun was even involved.
Where did they see the gun? That's another question.
According to the police, one of the suspects there, it belongs to the father of the children, or rather the men who adopted her, who all of them connived and planned the kidnapping to act the film, according to her, because it's actually a drama, not a real kidnap case.
And she used it to collect money from people,
from the public, not even only her family members. I mean, all of these are cases that we commend the police for swinging into action with immediate effects and ensuring that they apprehend the perpetrators of these acts. I mean, they should use them, ensure that the law should take its course, so that it will serve as deterrent to others who are out there, nurturing how to perpetrate all of these crimes. Just before we move on, let's talk about the first story that we watched. I'm not a woman, but I mean someone who conceived
9 months.
Child. You carried that baby for 9 months. I mean, I understand the fact that the baby is disabled, but there's a saying that also says that there is ability
in every disability.
We've seen disabled people doing very well in the society. I mean, seeing a mother coming out to throw her own baby inside the river.
I'm still questioning, because I don't understand. Can we really say that that woman gave birth to that child?
Of course.
Because if you carry that child in your womb for 9 months, I mean, no matter the disability, what will make you now take your own child and say, oh, this child is a python in human form? That seer should be arrested alongside. They should look for that seer and arrest him, because these are ways that religious leaders, fake pastors, fake prophets deceive people into doing heinous things. That's a child because one thing is that children are blessings from God. You don't know which child will bring you out from poverty or bring you out from your situation. We've seen stories of people who, there's a story of this motivational speaker. He doesn't have arm, he doesn't have legs, like is when you say disabled. But that man today is helping millions of people, making impact in lives. That's somebody. Imagine that the parents of that person threw him into the river. And this just reminded me of another controversial video making rounds of a YouTuber, a couple who went ahead to abort their pregnancy when they found out that the baby in the womb had Down syndrome. And the YouTuber came out to say, she was crying and she said she had to abort the baby because she found out that the baby had Down syndrome. And people are asking, the fact that your child is disabled in any form, does that stop that child from coming to life and like bringing impact? It doesn't. It doesn't. So for me, what that woman did is totally unforgivable. She should be persecuted for it. The child should be taken away from her because she doesn't deserve to be a mother. She doesn't.
I mean, when you see situations like this, you see people, they so much believe in spirituality. They don't take, okay, if you feel that you can no longer, stay with this child or harbor this child, the government is there to take responsibility. And you have the guts, the mind, the infantry to carry a human like you.
Your child, not even a human like you. This one is your own child. And speaking about the fact that you talk about people are so overly spiritual, it just shows the gullibility of people. A lot of people do not know God for themselves. And that is why whenever a seer, a prophet tells them do this, they believe the person without,
you quickly rush and
without
do
even
it
reasoning.
Without questioning, having a second thought.
Exactly.
I mean, so what role do you think the society should play at this point? Judging from this, even the government, the security agents, what should be done at this point?
Okay, first of all, let's talk about the role of the society. I want to commend the people of Ovia North for what they did. Because if not for if not for their swift surveillance, that's how that child would have died. The woman would have gotten away with that heinous crime. So this goes to show that when you see something around you, please take action. Don't say, you not concern me, you fooled your arm. No, it concerns all of us. Imagine those people did not act yesterday. That was how the child would have just ended, that woman would have ended that child's life. So it's important that when we see things around us, we take swift action. And thank God that they did not involve in jungle justice, because I was a bit concerned when I saw the video yesterday.
Yes.
I thank God that they handed the woman over to the appropriate authorities, and which now calls for the government in this. Government need to prosecute that woman, take a custody of that child. And I feel that aside from that, religious bodies need to regulate themselves, because there is this whole, anybody can be a pastor, anybody can open a church. There should be more regulation in the religious bodies so that we avoid issues like this, whereby people are being advised to do different things all in the name of, the child is a witch. I remember the story of the young boy who was criticized as a witch in Calabar and was later taken by a missionary. That young child today, we can see the life of that young child today. So these are issues that religious bodies also need to address for us.
I mean, yes, this is a lesson. This should serve as lessons to others. If you are tired of staying with your child or you don't want to harbor your child anymore for reasons best known to you, take that child and take him or her to the government. The government has responsibility, to take care of it. Don't take laws into your hands. And also we commend the locals for swinging into action with immediate effect and ensuring that they apprehend the said woman. Now let's move on. You can use the comment section to lend your voice to these two issues, these two stories that we touched on this morning. And so we move on to the next segments of the program while we await your comments. Stay tuned. Don't go away. Let's see the stories. Good to know that you're still there with us on the program, done on VOS TV Nigeria. We are reaching you live from Benin City, Edo State capital. Just before we take a look at the newspaper review segments of the program, let's quickly see comments from those who have joined us so far on the program this morning. And Privako, good morning to you, and thank you for joining us on the program. Privako is saying, she was just acting. She never take it serious. Talking about the story of the woman who self-kidnapped herself, Mrs. Olushi, who self-kidnapped herself for ransom from family members and loved ones.
Well, now she'll know that for every acting, there's an implication for it. Yes,
exactly. For every acting, there's actually an implication for it. That if she's actually acting, as she claimed, yes. If she's actually acting. And this one is coming from Ibrahim Obazi. She is a pathetic liar and a disgrace to motherhood. All right. For Jacob Jackson, she should be ashamed. Unfortunately, that is the type of society we live in. I mean, it's quite unfortunate that people, the extent people go to, extort and carry out several crimes. It's quite unfortunate. And for Elliot Obazi, good morning to you. Good morning. Thank you for joining us on the program. MC Papilo is saying, good morning, viewers TV. We have missed you guys yesterday. What happened? Oh, sorry.
It's all right. Yes. MC Papilo, we missed you as well. Exactly. And thank you for joining us today. We couldn't bring you the program yesterday due to uncontrollable circumstances.
Exactly. Uncontrollable circumstances led to it. And we are back. And it's good to have you join us back. Thank you for joining us. And this one is coming from Hope Luke. Good morning, VOS TV. Good morning to you. MC Papilo is again saying the pastor should be arrested immediately. In Anambra State, they should have arrested the man immediately. I mean, he is actually, we don't know, he's not a pastor, he's a seer. So we don't know if the person is a pastor. He's not a pastor. But exactly, the person should be brought to book, because you don't just give advice to people to, commit crime. You don't give advice to people to commit crime. You expect to go scot-free.
A seer of pythons in human form.
It's quite unfortunate there. And so let's get to see the stories that we have on the front of the newspapers this morning. We begin with the Vanguard on the front page of the Vanguard this morning. The first story there says International Monetary Fund cancels federal government against $5 billion UEA loan, seeks higher taxes. And just beneath the first story there, by my right hand side, after rescue of 416 captives in Borno, 11 more kidnapped, women regain freedom. It's quite unfortunate there. It raises questions about the rising wave of insecurity in the country. And the screaming headline on the Vanguard this morning, Nigeria moving in right direction, says federal government. The story has a couple of riders. Unveils Tinubu's scorecard, defends reforms, highlights economic gains, 1 million student loan beneficiaries, tax reforms, anti-graft successes, says it is prepared to be judged by evidence. I mean, that's the federal government there speaking. And still talking about other stories, reps summon service chiefs, finance minister over security spending. You can get details of that story on page 8 of the Vanguard this morning. And the big story there, we can see the picture of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He is to commission arterial road 5 billion Obafemi Awolowo way from Life Camp Junction to RRII Dape District section. That is in the LCT. It's scheduled to be commissioned today, Wednesday. I mean, those are some of the stories that we have on the Vanguard this morning. So let's move on to see our Daily Sun stories. Daily Sun, not Daily Sun, pardon, Daily Independent. On the front page of the Daily Independent, Tinubu sets up Ebola task force, OK's $10 billion emergency fund. Senate calls for ban on imported fabrics. And the screaming headline, despite inflation, security woes, Nigeria is progressing, says federal government to unveil national ranching policy next week. Reps ask Tinubu to crush bandits and school adoptions. TCN shifts power sector blame away from transmission network. That story, can get details of it on page 7 of the Daily Sun this morning. Nigeria's reforms, growing economy, but poverty still pervades. That's the International Monetary Fund speaking there. Atiku was part of decision for rotational presidency. Judge Akumen, FGF speaking there. Tinubu vows no safe haven for corruption under his administration. Inaugurates key economic infrastructure projects in Ado-Ekiti. Those are some of the stories we have on the Daily Independent newspaper this morning. And our final newspaper that we'll be taking a look at is the Punch newspaper. On the front page of the Punch newspaper, the screaming headline there says, post-primary chaos worsens as INEC faces candidate submission deadline. You can get details of the screaming headline on page 2. Still talking about other stories there. NANS will pass state lease bill this week, says Senate leader. Nigeria's foreign debt to hit $72.6 billion after 2027 polls. International Monetary Fund speaking there. Lumelu appointed chairman of Seplat Energy. Get details of that story on page 9. And talking about other stories, those are some of the stories that we have on the Punch this morning. Just before we go, Felicia, let me ask you this. I mean, the rising wave of insecurity is again calling for attention, and this time around, the Senate is saying is summoning the service chiefs. Do you think at this point, what do you think should be done differently to avert the rising wave of insecurity that we're facing at the moment in the country? We still have a lot of people in them, most especially the Oyo students, teachers, and others that are in them, and this has been calling for concern, sparking debates nationwide.
All right, looking at the current security situation and what has been done so far, we can say right now the security architecture of Nigeria actually needs a reform. What do I mean? We need to look at it from a different angle. Security agents are doing their best. That we cannot remove from the equation. But looking at the loopholes, for over days, weeks now, children have been in captivity, and governments are saying, oh, we are not going to negotiate with terrorists, but we are not seeing any tangible results. It really calls for something. I know that, yes, one of the stories that we touched on was that aside from the 300 and something persons that were released from kidnappers, then other women were also released. That's a good one. But in as much as that is good, we still need more action. And that is where the issue of reformation in the security architecture comes in place. Why? Because a lot of persons have said that there are loopholes in the security architecture. The insiders are feeding terrorists with information. So definitely there needs to be an overhaul so that it can further be strengthened. State policing, which is the Senate says coming this week, is a good one. We look forward to that. But if state police comes with this current security architecture we have, it might not be so effective.
You think so?
Yes.
Okay. Or we just expect that. Let's see how it pans out. If there will be, a development that will nip the tide of insecurity in the country. We just expect that government at all levels, stakeholders, even the people will synergize and ensure that we address the tide of insecurity heads on in the country. Right. And on that note, we round off the newspaper review segment of the program. Coming up next is the discussion segment. You wouldn't want to miss it. Yes, Governor Okpebholo's claim that opposition in the country are sponsoring kidnapping to distract President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration is sparking debates. And that will be the topic of discourse on the program this morning. Stay tuned.
Thank you so much for rejoining us. It is still dawn on VOS TV Nigeria. We're live on Facebook, live on YouTube, and we encourage you to be part of this conversation by giving this video a like, share your comments, and of course share this with your friends, families, and loved ones so they can be a part of this conversation. So our topic of discussion this morning is centered on a controversial, allegation made by the Edo State Governor, Governor Okpebholo, against the opposition in Nigeria, where he said that they are responsible for the kidnappings in Oyo State and across Nigeria. According to the governor, he said in a statement that they can kidnap us all, but Aso Rock is not vacant. This is a statement he made during the flag off of the All Progressive Congress campaign for the forthcoming local elections in Edo South Senatorial District.
People that are seeking for powers, let them stop disturbing our president. Let them stop disturbing our president. I say one more time, let them stop disturbing our president. Let them allow him to think how to move Nigeria forward. Let them stop kidnapping. Kidnapping cannot give them villa. Kidnapping cannot give them government house. Kidnapping cannot give them house of assembly. It cannot even give them senate. Not even house of rep. They should stop disturbing our president by using kidnappers to disturb us. The children that they have kidnapped, let them release them unconditionally. Must you kidnap people to make statements, to let people know that you are there? But this president has done so much for this country. Policy-wise, decision-taking, nobody has done it like Mr. President. I can never forget when people gathered to say there must be no fuel subsidy removal. This man did it, and he's paying up today. The things you are seeing happening in Edo State today, it is that subsidy that was removed. Because of this, what President is doing for our country, what Mr. President has done for Edo State and other states in Nigeria, here we say President less than 2.5 million votes. Is that not what we said? How many did we promise? Is it not settled in Edo?
Alright, so that's the video there of the Edo State governor saying that the opposition has resorted to kidnapping in order to destabilize the Tinubu-led administration and encouraging them that they should stop kidnapping because kidnapping will not give them seat of power, whether be it House of Representatives, the presidency, it will not give them. That is our major focus for this morning, aside from another very important issue bordering on governance and accountability we will be bringing to you this morning. And joining me to make sense of this is a member of the opposition who is here to react to this statement, talking about the publicity secretary of the African Democratic Congress here in Edo State, Comrade Christopher Ujekere.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. And by my left-hand side is a civil society activist and a lobbyist, Comrade Roy Uriabo.
Thank you for having me.
You are dressed like an Ijo man this morning.
Well, I just let me be like your father now.
It's all right. All right, so now coming to you, Comrade Christopher. This statement by the governor concerning the opposition. As a member of the opposition, what do you have to say concerning this?
Well, you might notice that it's the first time I'm with you on the studio and I'm not smiling, you know, at the beginning of the program, because there are things you don't smile about. I mean, it is enough for us to be sitting in our comfort zones and being very insensate to the terrible, woeful, demonic things happening to the Nigerian citizens in the forests. Their family members will not be impressed by whatever is being said here today. The only thing they want to hear is that you have put up an action plan to deliver their families from the forest. If you read about stories, the gory stories that come out from the torture and all the pains and all the indescribable works actually of those who are in the forest, you will be weeping that a state governor, you know, and I will tell you who he copied that from because it's quite incapable of original thoughts, is coming out on public television to begin to play politics with the lives of Nigerians. Let's just go into statistics very briefly. I didn't want to go into statistics because we're talking about human lives here, and I feel very touched whenever we're talking about human lives. 2 years ago, I lost my wife, and I mean, to natural death. She was sick. I know what it means when people are losing loved ones. and I feel very emotional when we get there. So if I hear such, even by his own standards, such below the belt, even by his own standards, statements from, the governor of Edo State, I feel very embarrassed and hurt. Now, the 6 or 7, according to statistics, I'm talking of latest statistics, most insecure states in Nigeria are Borno, Niger, Benue, Plateau, Zamfara, and I think one other state I can't remember now. Now, these states are all APC controlled states. So is the governor suggesting that those states too, where you have these insecurities, the governors are cooperating with the bandits or terrorists to disturb their own government, which is the government of the APC? Because according to him, the reason why opposition is going around the country creating problems or kidnapping is to ensure that they take over Aso Rock, that Tinubu's government is disrupted. Even Tinubu himself admits to his total failure. When Tinubu was coming in as president, Hadia Hanan, who left him eventually, went to him and said, what's your policy on security, especially for the northern region? He said he has no policy. That if he dares to fight security or insecurity, he might be killed. It's on public record that he might be killed. So his own APC government has no policy at all on security. And that's what we are suffering. From ab initio, if you are a government coming in, you must have a policy and an action plan for a particular, malliance, like insecurity. He didn't have. So how can you be blaming the opposition when you don't even have any plans or any policy of fighting insecurity, according to your own president that you are here defending? So now,
so you are debunking the allegation against you.
Of course, only I don't want to use, I don't want my emotions to control me here, but only it's unimaginable that anybody should be saying that. The people in the forest are children of both the opposition and the ruling parties. They are Nigerians in the forest. Have you read the stories coming out from the forest? So how do the kidnappers know? Is it written on the heads of people when they come to the street? This is APC people kidnap them, or are the opposition kidnapping themselves to go and do those terrible things to themselves in the forest?
All right, thank you, Comrade.
God.
All right, now over to you, Comrade Roy. Looking at the fact that a sitting governor of a state is making such statements, what level of evidence should he have before coming out publicly to make such allegations?
Well, is the executive governor of Edo State. I believe he must have been talking from a point of highly informed. He's giving a highly informed information to all of us. Being a governor, there are some information that are valuable to his disposal, especially classified information. I think from that point, he can also be telling us that opposition is responsible for the kidnapping. They must have some information in that direction.
So do you think that that information should also be shared with the public so that the opposition might be able to defend from a place of evidence shown?
Of course. Even when I saw my friend, the first thing I asked her, he's a member of opposition, and I asked him, why are you people kidnapping? Why are you destabilizing the country because of election? I'm paid. I'm paid really, because what is going on in the Nigerian society is something that none of us can run away from. For the governor to also come out to be informing us, telling all of us that is the opposition responsible, there is already a step. They have gathered the information is responsible. The next now is to come up with a solution. That's my thinking personally. Because a governor cannot just carry markers and say what he cannot defend. I don't want to believe that. And that's the reason why my friend was talking. I'm shaking my head at this is the governor of Edo State. You must have information. They go to national security meeting. And it's the highest level of security meeting. They go there, they have information. And that is the information is given to us here.
But a lot of persons argue that this is more of a political statement and it's thereby trivializing the insecurity situation in the country.
I'm one of those persons who said before anything we can do in this country to rescue those children who are seen after 3 weeks, who are seen captivity, and we endorse it. If trivializing it will beat these children out, yours sincerely will send and endorse it. That's my point, because I know the pain they are passing through. To don't make it a year, I lost my younger one, senior. I know the implication of how when somebody around you is gone. I know the implication. I've passed through it. I've had a son who died. Therefore, I know how to. When I had a father who died, I had a mother who died, I have a sister who also died, I have a brother. I can conveniently describe what happened when a loved one is gone. You understand me? On the strength of that, the governor have information. He's telling us the information, and I believe that information they will aggregate at the end of the day. You see, and they will serve as a panacea to what be devils, which is insecurity. That's my submission at this material time.
All right, Comrade Christopher. Do you believe that the governor has enough evidence to have come out to make that statement against the opposition, which you are part of?
What the Tinubu government has succeeded in doing in this country is to draw a tabular form where it's placing Nigerians, patriots, those with human feelings, those with the sense of humanity and human dignity on one side, and is placing charlatans, enemies of this country, insensate people on the other side. That's what the Tinubu government has done. We can clearly tell the insecurity in this country is a household thing that almost every household in this country have suffered from. And the people from the beginning that have been crying out about this, and in fact it's our primary campaign agenda, is that the government of the day has failed woefully because it has performed poorly and the worst form of poverty and failure in tackling insecurity. The president was so haunted by his failure in providing security that the last time we saw him on public television, he was saying, "You want to remove me. You want to remove me, but I'm very stubborn. They want to use insecurity to remove me." Everywhere in the country, everybody knows that how, first of all, this insecurity started. And I've just told you now that he didn't have any policy when he was coming in 2023. And now you are hearing Roy say he must have had information. Now, if the highest standard of reasoning from that camp is people assuming, speculating that whatever once a word has been spoken, there must have been, then that tells you the way this present government have degenerated. I don't know where he gathered all of them from. Ekiti State is where this came from Fayose. He was the first person that suggested that when the Oye incident happened. And look at the characters that are making such statements. Well, look at their mental abilities. Look at them. So the insecurity issue we have in Nigeria is a concern to Nigerians who have feelings. And the only way to solve it...
to pause you there. Are you insinuating that the governor is not in a right mental state? Based on your comment? No,
I didn't say he was deranged. I have just said that his mental abilities is incapable of original thoughts.
But that thought that a governor does not have the ability to have original thoughts.
I mean, is it not more difficult to think about this than to pronounce this CFRO? I mean, why are you pretending that somebody who cannot read out budget figures? Is it not more difficult to tackle questions of insecurity than to stumble in those elementary things? If the governor could not do that, why would you expect him to be able to elevate his thought to this height? I'll tell you where the whole idea came from. It came from Fayose, who first suggested that Makinde attacked his own people because he wanted to discredit the... You see, Ekiti State has almost in every home a PhD holder, almost in every home. In some, they have 3-4 PhD holders. But how they threw up that man they called Fayose is one of my puzzles, and it is my second home. I mean, the state I have visited more in this country than those. I have family ties, the Christian brothers there. I go there, I stay there. And my lecturer friend in the Ekiti University knows I have this puzzle. I say, how did you people throw up this kind of person? The quality of thoughts and mental processes of the people that are really not, that's my greatest worry. And it is not just that we have a problem now, it is who are going to be the people that will deliver out from this problem. People think like this. If a governor just gets up and he thinks that the solution to this kind of rampaging insecurity that is destroying every home in Nigeria is to get up there and begin to talk about opposition struggling as a rock, because the governor doesn't even think beyond that. If Napoleon says it must be right. That's Benjamin.
Interesting.
So if it came from their camp, it must be right.
All right, I will get back to you now, comrade. Looking at the governor's statements on there is no vacancy in Aso Rock, What implication does this have on the voters' mindset as regards our election process?
Were you expecting the governor to tell you there's vacancy in Nassau? Let's face the reality. You expect the governor, an APC now, this is serving governor of the APC, will not tell you there is vacancy in Nassau.
Doesn't this portend the notion that election outcome is already determined?
Or shenanigans employed by Nigerian politicians, including my dear friend here. And every Nigerian politicians, when they talk, don't take this to that level. You understand me? And that's the reason why I built my thought on that as a governor, one would naturally believe that anything coming from governor must be taken very serious. You know, you cannot just be work on mere assumption. I can't, anything coming from the governor, you sincerely must take it very serious. The opposition must come up to demonstrate that they are not the one responsible for this massive kidnapping going on in Nigeria. That is my concern. The governor, from a very informed position, in a conspicuous position, is telling Nigerians that opposition are responsible. The boy is now on the court of the opposition to demonstrate that capacity. And that innocent to say that, no, we are not in charge, we are not responsible. So the reminiscent of a woman who just kidnapped herself, if I raise it the other day and say, that woman, let's go and investigate it, maybe something, I said, no, you want to blackmail her. Until the woman came back to say yes. There are characters in this country, nothing we have not seen. A man who moved from this level and become a governor, what is told, don't just relate to him that he's assuming. Don't use that word assumption. He must have a classified information. He's not talking like raw river. He's talking as a governor. And the reason why people are taking the matter very serious is because he's a governor. If I use that word, nobody would have taken me serious. Compared to the way we are taking it serious. The opposition have a direct responsibility now to tell us where we are headed to. And that's the reason I was happy when I'm not a member of any political party today. I can confidently speak as I want to speak. As a we think God and fast. The NDCs today need to also tell us the map they have for us to tackle insecurity. Because since we are able to inform us that the APC under Tinubu don't have any platform, they don't have any idea to tackle it, I expect NDC to also be telling us so that we know where we are heading to.
Okay, before we head to that question, coming to you, Comrade Christopher, Roy just made a very salient point. What factors or what evidence do you have on ground to defend that the opposition is not responsible for the insecurity?
You are allowing them affect you.
Let
me explain to you. Let me explain to you what I mean. It is the worst thing you can say in a civilized society if you say that you allege and then the other person is to prove. It shows your inverted thought of logic. It is also the most deleterious thing you can say of a government if you say the government knows that it is the opposition and they have not been able to investigate and arrest anybody from the opposition as being the cause. And then you are saying the opposition should come and prove. You know when people just talk, if you are a government and you know that the opposition is responsible for insecurity, which will have you parading the people of the opposition who are responsible for insecurity. It is Booker talk, where people reason and where high governance is practiced. The government should be asked to step down because it means they are incapable, they are failures. If they cannot prove that opposition is the people responsible and arrest them and then prosecute them. So we don't engage such inversions of reasoning. What we are saying to you is that we are hurt and pained that people who should be responsible at least pretend that they are responsible. We know that they cannot do anything. But at least say, look, this is insecurity. I'm calling the opposition and everybody to join hands together and let us fight this insecurity. Now comes up like a charlatan on stage and is saying, opposition, can they take a House of Assembly? Can they? Right now, he's talking to me and I was laughing. At the infantile way a governor of a state is behaving on the stage. So it's very painful and hurting. Now, if you think as a government that the opposition, arrest them and prove that they are. They have abdicated their responsibility. They never ever took on the responsibility. So to even use the word abdicate is wrong. There is no time they have assumed the responsibility. Now to tell Roy, one of our cardinal principal core issue in the manifesto. And that's what the president may have seen, that he was saying, you want to use insecurity to remove me. Because it's threatened at the solution-based, evidence-based, grassroots-driven security policy principle that we are bringing out. Security has to be involving, inclusive of every citizen. And so Atiku is preaching a broad-based security architecture.
Okay,
that will involve,
Comrade, I will have to pause you there because campaigns haven't started.
No, he asked about our security.
Giving you that room, you have to wait for campaigns.
I begin to wonder if this station is also ADC oriented. It's wearing an ADC car. You are doing free campaign for ADC. I don't know why. Are they stakeholders?
Was I not introduced as state public secretary of ADC?
Yeah, you were.
Are you also going to remove me from the chair?
I'm not the publicity they are doing for you. I just want to know if this station is a part of ADC.
This station is not a part and parcel of any political party.
They have left the stage of accusation. They are now in the studio of accusation. It's always accusation and accusation. You already accusing them.
Gentlemen,
as a Nigerian, I want to belong to a political party. He's aware we have worked together.
You are coming to ADC. I know that's where you are coming, but you say we have not lobbied you.
That's strong conviction. I want to see what is on ground. I want to see your manifesto. I want to see what you are going to do for Edo.
Definitely, you would definitely see your manifesto.
Okay, Jay, it's not allowing me.
The governor to make a position whether you like it or not, I believe is talking from a point of information. And you cannot use that adjective that the governor is a charlatan. These are some of the characters we exhibit. I see when we are campaigning, there is no longer no limit to indulgence. You are talking to a father. You are talking to
and the man you call father is talking to an entire opposition and is accusing entire opposition of kidnapping and terrorism. We should be suing the governor to court.
If you are saying the governor,
we should take him up in the International Court of Justice. The governor is saying that the entire opposition is accusing us of terrorism and banditry. The governor is saying the opposition are terrorists and bandits. We should take him to court. We should sue him in the International Court of Justice. That we are terrorists and bandits.
Gentlemen, we understand the emotions involved in this conversation. However, I want to urge you to control your emotion. This is a civil conversation. Let's take it that way.
No, I just want him to use a proper adjective.
Yes, I understand your point. So in terms of we bring in Comrade Christopher is the publicity secretary of the African Democratic Congress, and like I said, it's not yet publicity campaign period yet, so I will not give him that room to speak on his party's manifesto. You can speak with him outside of the studio if you want to learn more about it and if you're interested anyway.
All right,
now to wrap up this conversation because of time. Let's now look at how both the opposition and the ruling party can balance campaigning with the concerns of Nigeria. Because in as much as, yes, both parties want to come into power, Nigerians are concerned. Nigerians want their issues, the issues of hardship, the issues of insecurity to be addressed, and many persons feel that these campaigns go a long way to trivialize their issue. So I want Comrade Christopher to take the first
one. The responsibility of government. Once you are sworn in, you are government. You have a responsibility to the people. The opposition does not have your power. The opposition does not have your infrastructural reach. You are government. If the government, who is supposed to be responsible, galvanizing the society to say, how do we solve the problems of Nigerians, are standing up there and making irresponsible statements that are infantile and puerile and charlatanistic, then such government cannot solve the problem. And that's why we opposition are saying we have the solution, but you are saying I shouldn't tell you the solution that we have now to security. Rather than the governor to say come and help me, rather than the president to say come and help me, he's accusing the entire opposition of being bandits and terrorists. He has not weighed these words, and he's here telling me I'm being kind to him. He has not weighed this, accusing me of being a terrorist. My reputation is under threat here. I'm being accused of being a terrorist in my own country, and that's an irresponsible statement coming from the governor of a state. So we are going to have to take him up because he has to prove who are the bandits and terrorists in their position. So such people can never solve problems. They don't have any mindset to solve any problem. They are just there behaving irresponsibly and playing politics with people's lives.
All right, thank you so much, Comrade Christopher. Yes, Comrade Roy, how can politicians balance campaign with politicizing issues affecting Nigerians?
You can't run away from politics anytime you are talking to politicians. You know, the politicians they are political in nature. Any of their disposition is politics. Even eating is politics, thinking is politics. And it's very unfortunate in this part of Nigeria. We have not seen serious opposition. That is my concern. I want to see opposition who will be telling me these children have been under the category for 31 days. We could have done it like this. Opposition need to be proactive, not to be reacting like the system. We have complained that the system is not working. And any party that is coming is supposed to be ahead, telling us this. In 2012, I was the chairman of a party in this town. We produced the likes of Solomon Adebiri, who was a candidate. We were asked, I was the chairman, we went to China. When we came back, they were asking us, what do you want to do about the fuel issue we continue to have? And I said, we are going to build a modular refinery. That lexicon meant
which you have bait it?
Yeah,
have you bait it now?
We were not elected in that election, but Nigeria were not looking up to us. And that was how that point was developed in Nigerian political discussion that gave birth to the modular refinery.
Right.
What do you say? These are thinking. I want to see opposition telling me this is security, this is what we'll be doing different. If a working opposition, you put government in power on its throne by telling what to do at any time. So you are not getting this right. This is what you are supposed to do. We can't sit down here and be lamenting. No solution. If the governor call you that you are
all right.
You are
Thank you so much,
comrade. You are calling the governor charlatan.
Thank you so much, comrade. This conversation has definitely not ended.
No.
We will continue it in another edition. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us, for your comments on the comment session. And this is where we'll call it a wrap on today's edition of the morning show done on VOS TV. From me and the gentleman in the studio, it is bye for now.
Well,